three of his super fans here. I mean, we really are. It's Brian Windhorst joining us here on Unsportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance. Windy, thank you as always. More interesting to you today, the Warriors or the Rockets?
The Rockets because of this summer. I don't think the company agrees. I think the company is, mildly happy that though Steph Curry will be continuing to play. But the Rockets, first off, I just want to put it on everybody's radar. 1 week from today, May 12th, is the Cooper Flag Lottery. And a lot of what's going to happen in the NBA this summer. And granted, we are in the thick of the playoffs, and I'm very excited about this second round. But this summer is going to be set up by a lot of stuff that happens next Monday. And the reason is because we have some highly competitive teams that are in the lottery that have a real shot. Two teams, Houston had the 9th pick with something like 10 or 12% chance of getting into the top 4, maybe 17% chance, and then 3% of winning the lottery. That team gets in the top 4. We're talking about something very interesting on a number of fronts. And then San Antonio, who is a falsely bad team because Victor missed. I mean, they're not great, but they had the last 2 rookies of the year. They've got 2 lottery picks. They've got like a 30-something% chance of being in the top 4, and that gets very interesting. So Houston is more interesting to me, but I'm not sure the collective world may agree with me.
So, Wendy, with that being said, does the winner of the draft lottery become the favorite in your mind to land Giannis this summer if he decides he wants to get traded?
It's a good question. It just depends on who it is. It doesn't. They don't have to. By the way, they don't have to win the draft lottery. Like if you look at the Rockets, for example, they got this guy on their bench who isn't playing, who's an extremely interesting player in Reed Shepherd. He just didn't play all year, and he had an injury late. Maybe a year from now, he's in their rotation and he's a difference-making offensive player. Maybe he and this lottery pick are the centerpiece of a major trade. The Spurs have Stephon Castle, who I know they would say is untouchable, but the phone rings regarding Giannis. That would be maybe a different conversation, and potentially 2 lottery picks. I'm not saying you give away all of it, but it just gets super duper interesting. And I know what people are leaning to. They're saying, well, the Rockets got to go trade for Kevin Durant. I don't think that's the way the Rockets are thinking. Now, I mean, everything could change on May 12th. May 12th has been circled on teams' calendars for months, but I think the Rockets, they know they're going to have to add offense. They're smart. I don't think they want to add a guy, Durant or anybody. I don't think they want to add a guy who doesn't match their. They're going to use a bunch of really valuable stuff. I don't think they want to trade for a guy who's in his mid to late 30s. And it's not a commentary on Durant. I think it's just a commentary on where they're at as a team. And by the way, Rafael Stone, their general manager, has pretty much said this on the record. This is not some sort of breaking insight.
Wendy, we're going to get back to the playoffs in a second, but to stick with interesting storylines in the NBA, I want to ask you about the state of Luka and the Lakers, because JJ Redick says that the team needs to get in championship shape. Obviously, people take that as a not-so-veiled shot at Luka Dončić. LeBron is saying that it's not his job to be recruiting Luka. How would you characterize the state of Luka and the Lakers right now?
A whole lot of not surprising or interesting. I mean, I know that's not what you wanted to hear.
Keep going.
First off, if Luka got upset at people who told him he needed to be in shape, he wouldn't talk to anybody because he's been told he needs to get in shape since he's a mid-teenager. Secondly, LeBron's commentary on that, I think, is fair. I think one of the things that LeBron has said regarding Luka throughout the couple of months since the trade is they're moving forward with Luka as a franchise player. He's they should. That's who, the Lakers have decided that Luka is going to be at the center of their decisions going forward. It's not going to be me. I don't think he's doing backflips about it, but I think he's they got to do it. And so he doesn't want, if Luka doesn't sign or whatever this summer, he doesn't want it to be on him. He's well, if Luka doesn't want to be here in 2027, don't talk to me about it. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. And I know that they were spotted in a restaurant or whatever. Every player has a meeting with their team every year when they leave. The fact that they took him to a special dinner, that is special treatment. The meeting that Luka had with the Lakers at the end of the season is not relevant as the meeting that they have with him in August, because in August they're going to come to him and say, you are eligible for a contract extension. We'd love for you to sign for 4 years. Here's our moves in June and July. Let's do this together for the next, for your prime. That's the conversation that matters. And the actions and the words don't matter at all. No matter what JJ and Rob Pelinka said, the actions in June and July are what's going to matter.
Friday's Hoop Collective, I believe you guys got into that. If people want more on the Lakers, obviously, with Windy. Talk with Brian Windhorst here on Sportsmanlike on ESPN Radio. I've said all along, and maybe I'll be wrong about this could be a play-the-result summer based on what Oklahoma City does. Let me explain what I mean. If Oklahoma City wins it all, which they very easily could. Well, not easily. You get what I'm saying. I do wonder if teams like the Rockets and other teams may just say, let's stay the course. We don't need to trade for a megastar. Let's get 8 of these guys, and 3 of them will end up that way. Could you see it happening that way?
I could see it happening that way even if Oklahoma City doesn't win. Because if you look at the NBA right now, we've been in an era for the last 15 years where it's been about big threes. Get a big 3 or die trying. Look at the teams that are thriving in the NBA right now. It's the teams that have depth and, to a second degree, size. Size and depth. With the aprons in the NBA, depth becomes so important. Look at the Celtics. Look at the Cavs. Look at the Thunder. Look at the Wolves.
Pacers.
Like depth. Building depth is going to be the thing. I think we're headed towards a spot where it's a big 2 and depth. Because if you have a guy in your third position who is making $50 million, he better be a stud. He better be a stud every year of that contract. Otherwise, you got Bradley Beal. So, no offense to Bradley Beal, he's a very nice guy, but
yeah, rather have Drew Holiday.
But if you are moving into this season, you're saying this offseason, you're going, how can my team get a big 3? Because I see it. People are on the trade machine. Go, oh, we can get this guy, this guy, this guy. You're thinking across. You're not looking at it the right way. I think we're moving into the NBA where you need 2 stars in depth, and I think we're going to see teams lean into that starting this summer.
Windy, nobody knows the NBA like you in terms of people that are in the sports media business, and I'm curious now that we have the second round series set, which one is the most compelling from your perspective?
Man, I like them all. I think the least compelling might be Knicks Celtics. Again, the series I'm doing, I'm going to Boston. Going to Boston in a few hours. I'm looking at this low ceilings, wondering if I should not take a flight and should take the train. That's actually on the back of my mind right now. Cavs Pacers is the Cavs quietly were concerned about the Pacers for the last month or so. As the Pacers were, that's a tough matchup for them. As the Pacers were thriving at the end of the season, moving, because there was a race for 4, 5, 6 in the East, and then the Pacers went 14-4 down the stretch and took it. The Cavs were sort of giving them side eye. That's not going to be easy. And now Darius Garland is banged up, so that's interesting to me. I think Nuggets Thunder is, wow, man. Now I think the Thunder have a huge advantage tonight. Nuggets having to play less than 48 hours after winning a Game 7. History shows us it doesn't go well, especially in Game 1. But the Nuggets are getting great play from their